Hey everybody, it's Adler and welcome back to Tokyo Dark. Right then, last we left off, we had returned to talk to Mai's brother to see if he will actually give us any information regarding the mask and maybe even about her family, or her mother and father that have their quote-unquote deaths, and how she's never gotten a straight answer about it. So, let's go in. This should be interesting. Mai? What are you doing here? Did she make you come? It's not like that, Takashi. It was my idea. I asked her to come talk with you, but you sent her away. This woman almost got you killed. No, I actually saved her from. She saved your sister from getting her throat slit, you dumbass. You expect me to cooperate with her? Surely if you need to talk to me, you can come by yourself. My sister doesn't need to be involved. No. If I came along, you just evade all my questions. If I came along, you just evade all my questions like you always do. Besides, there's something I need you to see. See what? What are you talking about? Where did you get that? Put it away. So you do know what it is. I knew you were hiding something from me. That's not true. I wasn't hiding it. I just didn't tell you about it. It's not something you even know about. Besides, why is she carrying it in the first place? Wait, don't change the subject. This is not Ito. I understand that you're upset with me, but we should talk about this another time. Furthermore, that mask has nothing to do with you. You're wrong. Back in April when Mai was held at knife point by the girl, it was this mask she was after. The mask your family is connected to. Looking for it? I suppose I've been a fool to think I keep the truth of our family's past away from you. The past? Does it something to do with mom and dad? Yes, and so much more. I first saw that mask when I was a child before you were born. The truth is, it belonged to a cult called the Common Kai, of which our parents were members. A cult? You're kidding. How'd your parents get mixed up in that? And there's always a cult in these stories. Always goddamn cultists. Fucking Halloween 45 is right. It's always fucking cults. Take a shot. I know how it sounds. I just find it hard to believe myself. They are a group led by a young guru named Tokimasa who promised a simpler life away from the hypocrisy and false in city life. Oh yeah, that always goes well, usually with Kool-Aid involved. Our parents both had master's degrees and my mother was on her way to earning her PhD. They chose to give up their lives and their careers to follow some mystic and live on a compound instead. So they threw their whole existences in the garbage. Wonderful. The Common Kai were one of many such groups back then. I was a child and didn't understand, but thinking about how our parents were deceived and what they put me and Mai through, it's unforgivable. The mask is in the compound, but for what purpose or what they believed it could do, I don't know. You think there are any other members of the Common Kai left who'd know? No. You see, there are no surviving members. They died. All of them. Including our parents. I'm sorry, I don't remember much about it. One night, Grandma came into the room where we were sleeping, saying we had to go. The compound was in the woods, so it was dark and I could barely see, but she kept charging forward with Mai in her arms and me dragging behind. When we were back in Tokyo several days later, Grandma told me that our parents were dead. She didn't seem sad. It was as if she expected it. The government censored much of what happened, so I was never able to learn how they died. Me and Grandma didn't speak of it, ignoring it as if my childhood and everything that happened in those woods was a bad dream. If it weren't for her, we'd probably be dead with our parents, but ignoring it couldn't erase the anger I felt towards them. I wonder if they even cared what might happen to us. As a high schooler, I spent more time trying to find out about the Common Kai than I did studying. I thought that if I could understand why my parents so willingly gave up their lives and abandoned us, I'd stop feeling so betrayed. But I was wrong. Nothing I found gave me any peace. Mom and Dad died as part of some cult? I don't believe it. It's true. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I guess that in hiding it from you, I was able to hide away my feelings as well. I think for Grandma it was too painful to talk about. I believe she took possession of the shrine in order to live a simpler life. We had to keep it secret. There's no way we could live a normal life with the stigma of the Common Kai attached to us. I suppose keeping that secret hurt us both dearly. For me, pursuing Kendo gave me some measure of control over my life again. Grandma, who made a choice to leave her only daughter behind, she always seemed to carry the guilt of it with her. She started going out at night, babbling about how she was looking for Mom. When she'd come home, she'd have a rotten stink on her clothes. I was too scared to confront her, so I tipped off the police. They found her wandering in the sewers holding nothing but the mask. The same one from the cult compound all those years before and the one you hold now. I was shocked when they gave it to me. I hadn't seen it for so long and all the unpleasant memories from my past came flooding back. That was when I decided to leave Kamakura. It was the only way I could move on with my life. That doesn't account for how the mask ended up with your grandmother in the first place. I don't know how she got it. It seemingly appeared out of thin air, or maybe someone gave it to her. She never said. I left the mask with her. It always made me uneasy. It had a strange aura about it. Wait, Grandma was looking for Mom? In the sewers? I don't remember any of this. Does this have something to do with why there's a shrine gate in the sewer and... Okay. You were in the dorms at your school at the time. Grandma's strange behavior was part of why I insisted on you going to those private schools away from Kamakura. I couldn't drag you into the madness of our past. We parted ways without ever speaking of it, and she was much better by the time you returned to Kamakura. Detective, what exactly is it you're looking for? Surely our family's history isn't of use to you. I assume you've heard of what happened to my partner. This mask was there again when he died. It's more than an ornament. I need to know where it came from. If that's true, then I want to help you. Your partner, he seemed like a nice person. No, Mai. You've helped plenty, but I have to do this on my own. Ito was right. I apologize for not telling you all this sooner, but you can't be involved in something so dangerous. I already thought I'd lost it that day at the shrine. I wouldn't forgive myself if something happened to you now. Alright. Thank you for finally telling me the truth, Takashi. I'll head back for now. I hope you remember that I'm your sister. I may not remember the same things you do, but we're still family. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for your help, Mai. You're right, Mai. I'll come visit you soon. Yeah, it looks like she's gone. Mai's not here, there's no need to be coy. No doubt taking possession of that mask has taken its toll on you. Even in the brief time I was in contact with it, I felt an immense darkness behind it. I had such strange dreams and saw things I never would have dreamed of my own. There was always an unusual air about it that I couldn't stand to be around. Maybe lying to Maya again makes me a hypocrite. All I know is I don't want her getting hurt. But like you said, I don't believe that mask is simply wood and paint. Though I doubt anyone else will believe us. No one ever did. Except for one man. On this street there's an old tea shop. Of course. Perhaps he's on the way in? Yes, I looked at it like I do on everything else I can notice. An old historian named Yasuhisa is there occasionally. He was the only one who ever acknowledged what I said about the mask as truth. If you're looking for information on the mask, he may be the best person to ask. I never pursued the topic with him, but I speak with him occasionally on other topics. His mind is a vault of valuable information. Hopefully he can shed some light on what it really is. Neat. I hope so, but please, detective, be careful. We'll probably not be. I'd love to. We'll try. Probably gonna fail. Can I even? I could. Nah, professionalism's already kind of tanking a bit, so we'll just go in the tea shop. The historian Yasuhisa. Welcome, come in, do sit down. No need to be so formal and stand there like a statue. How can I help you? Are you Yasuhisa? Takeshi told me to come speak with you. Oh? And how is Mr. Kawana? Still prickly as ever, I suppose. I've always found him to be wise beyond his years, though perhaps not by choice. I digress, my apologies. It's the quirks that come with old age, you know. What does Mr. Kawana think I can help you with? I'm looking into a few things related to the Kamenkai, the group his family got mixed up in. Ah, a more difficult answer than you might expect. You see, there are two groups that share that name. The first, as you know, is the religious group formed by the Guru Tokimasa. The second is an ancient order over 1,000 years old. What's that you're holding? I was told it's related to the Kamenkai, the newer one, and that you could tell me about it. Ah, that explains many things, child. The far-off look in your eyes, for one. I imagine you have many questions. Masks are interesting, are they not? They're meant to be a disguise, and yet a mask cannot lie or contort itself to hide the truth. In that sense, it is the mask that is more truthful than the human faces we hide underneath them. I wonder how you came to be in possession of an object with such a dark history. I think it might be related to a missing person, but I don't know anything about it beyond that. Ah, but that itself is the essence of history. Layers upon layers of personal connections that are continuously peeled back to the root. Relics like the one you hold often take unusual routes to where they end up. Relic? If it's from the common kind cult from the 90s, then I hardly call it a relic, unless it's from the ancient 1,000-year-old cult. Misguided and deceptive as he was, Tokimasa was no fool. In order to gain new followers, he needed to give his cult historical legitimacy. He collected obscure objects and gave them new meanings that he could control in order to manipulate his followers. The mask was what he chose, along with the name of the group that created it. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I guess so, only I guess I was hoping you could tell me some other things about it. For instance? Like why... now that I'm about to say it out loud, it sounds silly. I'm sorry I bothered you. Don't be silly. You wonder, for example, why holding the mask seems to take you to another place. Or perhaps why you can see visions that don't seem real. Why you feel a strong will exerting itself on you. Oh yes, I know all about those things too. How could you know about that? When Tokimasa was in possession of it, he believed it showed him a path to the realm of the gods. He wrote extensively on the subject, though unlike most, I don't discount such phenomena as the ravings of a madman when the phenomena repeats itself. Okay. Do you too look into the inky blackness and see familiar shapes in the shadows? That's one way to put it. It's very eloquent, I like it. Not shadows. I see and hear people who are supposed to be dead. I find things I couldn't possibly have found otherwise. Most interesting. Tell me, detective. Oh, apologies. Do you mind if I call you that? I don't remember telling you I was a detective. Huh. My mistake. You must forgive me. A slip of the tongue. I believe it was the way you carried yourself. Determined investigators such as yourself have a sense of purpose in their mannerisms, you see. And you do seem rather determined to get to the bottom of whatever it is that you're chasing. Tell me, does me telling you that your experience are not an illusion provide you any level of comfort? I'm not sure, but I do feel something. Maybe hope? It's like I finally got a foothold on solid ground. Ah yes, knowledge is a light in dark places, is it not? To think a relic of such import would end up with a detective. Do you mind if I ask you something? Which do you believe? Are our lives controlled by fate, pre-measured threads that determine our deeds, our wishes, and our ends the minute we come into existence? Or conversely, is our thread subject to the chaos inherent in our universe instead? Does it change according to our deeds and that which happens to us seemingly by accident? Do you believe it is fate or chance that decides which threads of life are cut short and which are followed? Oh, okay. That just popped because that's really hard to see. Well, it was at first anyway. Chance or fate? Chance or... Oh, okay. Didn't the collector ask a similar question? Or at least he mentioned something along these same lines? And I think I went on a tangent about it at some point. Something similar to that. That's... I don't know. I mean, I'm not thinking about this in terms of the real world. I'm trying to think about it in terms of, like, in relation to the game, to what's happened, to what Ida would probably be thinking about right about now. If she believes that maybe that she's being pulled along by something, or that perhaps what she's done has some measure, well, she has some measure of control, at least over what has happened, of what she's doing. I'll say chance, because honestly, with the way things have been going, with the forces that she seems to be dealing with so far, if she were to believe that it was fate, this is meant to be happening, that might be more terrifying than this just being coincidence. You know, a series of random events that just so happen to line up in a certain way. Yes, of course. Maybe for your life has been somewhat out of your control as of late. Control, huh? To be honest, I don't feel like I've had much of that since the mask came to me. You said the mask was made by the old Common Kai. Why? Confusing me can't be the purpose it was made for. Oh yes, a more complicated answer than you might have wished for. Indeed, it should come as no surprise that the creation of such a mysterious object is equally enigmatic. But of course. Perhaps you could do me a favor. Don't worry, it is in relation to this very topic. An important book has gone missing from my shop. If you could retrieve it for me, I feel I could shine a great deal of light on the subject. What kind of book? A book of the missing variety. I'm sorry, I jest. It concerns the Mask Bearer. Mask Bearer? Huh? That's me, right? Although you carry it, that does not make you its bearer. All will become clear when the book is returned to me. It sounds easy enough, deceptively so. Where can I start looking? Oh, you didn't go far. The man who has it is right inside this building. In fact, as I said, it's not much of an errand, but I, of course, cannot leave my shop. He's right outside. This won't take long. I'll be right back. Oh, boy. And who is this man? Wait. The way that lined up looked kind of creepy. Where's that? It has to mean him, right? Yeah, it has to mean this guy. I assume. Oh. I have been missing those. Ugh. The old tea shop next door? Isn't that place closed down? Closed? That can't be right. What else do you know about it? Pure conjecture on this one, but I think it might be owned by the kendo instructor from the dojo down the street on account of him being the only one I ever see in there. You might not believe me, but I swear I saw him in there chatting away to himself. Possibly, he's a little nuts. Then again, it might be some super awesome kendo meditation technique. Oh man, why didn't I think of that before? Next time I ought to ask him for some pointers to spy on, huh? Word through the grapevine is that he's a regional champion or something and he's trained some of the best. Lots of cops trained him too, so he must be good. Maybe he's not so crazy after all. Speaking of which, I have a bit of a crazy question for you. I know you said it was closed, but do you know anything about a book taken from there, maybe recently? I was led to believe you would. Oh jeez. Go on. Well, like I said, the place has been empty for years, but you know, I spend a lot of time outside it, and half the time the door is wide open. So one day, a few months back, I decided to take a look around. Nothing suspicious of nothing. I was just curious is all. Curiosity killed the cat, right? Anyway, it was all dusty and old, and there was all sorts of weird stuff laying around. So I might have taken a little souvenir. I mean, it wasn't super old or nothing, so I figured no one would miss it. Besides, it wasn't for me. It was for my kid brother. That guy can get deep in the dumps sometimes, so I try to be on standby for when that happens, you know? So I figured a little gift would cheer him up. And back then he was going to throw some particularly tough times going through. His bitch wife, pardon my language, miss, had left him and taken their kid daughter with her. He still doesn't talk about it like he's in denial or something. Whoops, got off track again. I was heading to visit him with the ill-gotten milk, and I got this phone call saying he was in the hospital. He OD'd on expensive sake and sleeping pills. Thank God the idiot decided to do it at the bar he owns with the door unlocked. The customer came in and called an ambulance. If it weren't for that, I'm not sure he'd still be here. That's quite a story. Sounds to me like he wanted to be found. Yeah, I think so too. I think he was trying to ask for help in his own way. In any case, I took the book to him while he was in the hospital. Tried to show him that even when he was at his lowest, there was something out there trying to do something nice for him, you know? Or someone. I think it helped. For a minute, anyhow. As soon as the doctors let him leave, he went right back to that toxic little bar. Hope he's okay. He's got issues, but he's my little brother, and I worry about him. He's not been answering my phone calls lately. Originally, my brother's that bitch ex-wife, sorry again, had the brilliant idea to put his skill to work in a cheap part of town. Despite that, he's holding on to it with everything he's got. The place is slowly bankrupting him, but he won't let it go. All he has to do is sign some paper and move on, but he can't. Something about it has his claws sank deep into him. I've been trying to get him to join me in my business for years. He's a great chef, they're gonna hear killing. Maybe he's not the same as owning a whole bar, but serving passersby and getting some sunshine is good for the soul. Plus, food scene's doing really well abroad, I hear. Much better than wasting away in Shinjuku at any rate. Shinjuku? I knew it. Yeah, in a slimy little side street. Wait a minute. Anyway, if that book is important, he's probably still got it at his place. You want the address? Wait. I knew you looked familiar. Your brother's Daiso, right? Yeah, fucking God. I figured as much. Your brother's Daiso, right? You know him? Small world. It's probably the smile on my face that threw you off. Tell him his brother Howard says hi. While you're at it, tell him that takoyaki stands to still with the future of cuisine and to get his butt over here. I'll do that. Thanks for all your help. Okay, we're going back to Shinjuku. And what time is it? How long has it been going for? I'll go ahead and end this episode here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.